Hello, let's talk today about yet another pretty fresh model by TRN, and actually I'm not sure how to pronounce this name properly. I'm 100% sure that it's not Xuanwu, not Xuanwu, because this letter definitely won't be X. Maybe it's something Xuanwu or something like that, but still not sure. I'm not good at reading transliteration from Chinese language. Luckily they give translation, it's black tortoise. And it's really interesting in ear monitors because it's a hybrid model with 10mm square planar magnetic driver and some balanced armature. But what makes them stand out is the price. Their price in the official shop is $32, a bit less. But actually they have some sales for even lower price, and it still makes me really wonder actually how someone can make something that cheap and actually make it on a pretty normal level. So let's have a closer look. Package is nice, it's noticeably better than traditional matchbox-like packaging from this of earphones from this segment. It's a bit bigger with more interesting polygraphy, colorful and so on. But they have blow-up diagram on the rear side, but unfortunately no technical specifications on the box. Inside we're getting to the contents. So earpieces themselves, some kind of manual. Let's see, maybe here we've got some technical specifications. Actually, I don't see technical specifications, but what is more interesting, they provided some manual for the burn-in and actually how to do that, but I have my own approach here, and if you're following my videos you know it. So earpieces, and here probably some tips and the stock cable and some more tips. Now that's it. So let's see. Stock cable, kind of traditional, 3 type of different tips. So let's dig into the first bag. Oh, that's a really nice tips, actually really good with sticky silicone, but just one size, and it's not the biggest ones. Usually such tips fit to my ears pretty okay because of that stickiness, but of course a bit more variety would be nice here. But actually these tips are more expensive than regular ones, and when we're talking about super affordable model, each pair of tips can impact the price. Like normal regular white silicones, and what we've got here, that's something darker in terms of color. Either it foams or some dark silicones. So your bet, yep, it's just black silicone tips. So actually 2 most frequently met type of tips, and in general good set of tips here, so everyone can find something. In terms of design, they are good. Case is made of mainly of plastic, just one exception. 2 exceptions, it's metal bore and actually this metal edge of the faceplate. But actually faceplate looks pretty nice. Really good combination of gold color and black with this honeycomb texture. Looks pretty interesting and not usual. And from the other side we're getting like most traditional ergonomic shape. To my ears they fitting really well and providing about average noise isolation, because the length of spout is also about average. There is a lip for holding the tips and protective grills, and actually build quality looks kind of nice. Stock cable is like absolutely traditional, I like this type of connectors and I like this exact implementation. From the outside they look like MMCX, but in terms of design it's just two pin connectors with recessed pins, and actually it's probably the best option in the affordable segment in terms of durability. And stock cable, just like traditional, pretty soft, good in terms of ergonomics, with low microphonic effect. And let's unwind it. So it's like really basic cable, but of course in the affordable segment doing some expensive cable rolling isn't the brightest idea, so they decided to use it just as a proper. And here is splitter, no chin slider here, but it's not necessary because cable is pretty soft, and it goes down to this angled connector. So in terms of design, package and stuff, I think for this price it's really good. And of course about the sound, I gave them 48 hours of burn-in, and there were audible changes during first 15 hours or so. I didn't experience that complex stages of burn-in described in the manual, and I didn't do that, but I burned them in for 48 hours, and after 15 hours I didn't hear any changes, and after that I used them for about 20 hours or so, and also there were no big changes in sound. Anyway, if you decided to get them, just start using them, it will be totally okay. And spend some time trying different tips, because first you need to find a proper seal. Unfortunately that silicone ones doesn't fit to my ears, they are a bit too small, so next size would have been perfect to me. But luckily I found a good option, it's these black silicones. Actually black and white silicones also gives you a bit difference in sound. Black one sounds a bit more weightier. That's why I select them, because I like it more this way. And actually sound is really good, taking into account the price, it's ridiculously good. And actually if I decided to start the hype, probably I'd select this model. To my ears they sound better than a lot of hyped models that I reviewed in the past. So I'm not sure actually, do they really use planar driver here? Most probably yes, but I can't guarantee that because I didn't open them. But anyway, sound different of low part of the sonic spectrum definitely reminds you planar one. Bass is deep, it's well controlled, it has average accent, it's not too big but slightly accented, and it has noticeably higher speed than traditional dynamic drivers in this segment, and it means a bit better overtone saturation on the lows. Of course, compared to some more expensive models, it's still not perfect overtone saturation and not 100% realism, but for this price tire it's actually really good result that I like, and it's used both for the electronic music and for some acoustic instruments, or not acoustic but like live instruments, and not sampled. And also bass tends to be pretty fast, delivering good impact and hit and strike. It's really good, and actually weight is also present when necessary, but it's not trying to add a lot of weight on the bass, because it's going more to the speed side. And another interesting feature of low frequencies here that I noticed is the fact that actually, typical hybrids with dynamic driver and balanced armature, it's almost in 100% cases there is a noticeable coloration of lower mids by the dynamic driver. Then on the middle mid started pure armature part, and actually it has higher resolution, less weight, but lower part is noticeably weightier. Here is not the case, and actually that driver overlap is barely noticeable. In very rare cases I hear that bass is coloring lower mids, but not often. But actually maybe planar driver it's because planar driver has they have higher cutoff frequency, and that means that planar driver responsible for bigger part of sonic spectrum. Not sure here, but definitely transition between bass and mid sounds nice and coherent, and keeping the things more realistic. And first example, it's Yello, vicious games, nice impactful bass that these earphones deliver nicely without overdoing it, that or overcoloring, and great mid and treble with lot of 3D effects and interesting stuff. Pretty nice vocal, and these earphones deliver it also really good because they have balanced representation of mids and treble. So mids are clean, crisp, with good detalization and without excessive focus on the micro contrast. I'd probably call them comfortable, you know, they are enjoyable, they have nice details, but at the same time it's not trying to like pick the tiniest micro contrast nuances and show them to you. They are moderate in terms of sensitivity for the quality of record, but better material will be required. Stage is bigger than average, not huge, but actually well built with nice three-dimensional positioning. They're not trying to boost emotions or dynamics or add some weight, so that will depend on the record itself. When it's present, you'll get it with good sense of realism. Vocal sound crisp, clean, there is a boost in the upper mids area to make female vocals more engaging, and distorted guitars, and actually it's not overdone, so it doesn't sound too sharp, at least to my ears. So in general, pretty enjoyable mids without trying to boost some part of it or some components of mid frequencies. And example here, it's Smooth Criminal by Michael Jackson. Of course it has great bass lines that is really punchy and enjoyable, but also vocal, lot of different instruments, nuances and tiny details put into this track. They are present here thanks to good speed, it delivers nice impactful bass line, and on top of that pretty pleasant vocals. And treble. Actually treble they decided to make pretty comfortable, because after that spike on the upper mids or lower treble they are recessed. So it's not super forward or energetic treble. It's present, it's audible, but in general it's pretty comfortable, except of one spike at about, I don't know, like 7 to 9 kilohertz area, or maybe somewhere there, because sometimes it just pop up, and actually I usually hear this effect on some electronic music with more when they use some sampled cymbals or something like that. With more natural instruments like regular drums, this effect less noticeable, and if you're not super sensitive for this area, it would be okay to you. In general, it's typical balanced armature treble with good sense of airiness, slightly on the light side of things, normal extension above average, but not by much. And of course no things like layering or something like that, but in general good bass overtone saturation, giving you airiness and additional sense of realism. And example for the treble here, it's John Legend, Start a Fire from the La La Land soundtrack, my heartwarming movie, because I really like Los Angeles. So if someone from LA watched this video, hello. And hello to everyone who is watching this video in this part, all over the world. I'm really glad to have you here. And actually nice, actually it's not a live record in my opinion, it more sounds like a record that was additionally tuned to sound like live one, or maybe it was performed before like small audience, because it doesn't have that sense of huge concert hall. But in general, all that applauses, piano part that goes to the treble area, it all has interesting load for to the treble, over the treble area, and this player delivers it nicely. It's lacking a bit of energy to represent it perfectly, and I'm a treble lover, so for me it's noticeable, but if you don't like treble as much, it will be a pretty decent option to you. In terms of pairing, they are okay with smartphone or something like that, but to achieve better result, it's better to use some digital to analog converter. And speaking about the comparisons, actually the only model that came to my mind, it's CCA PLA13 that I reviewed some time ago, but they are more bassy and bass dominating in their sound, so it's totally different model. To me, this one sounds a bit more balanced. There are a lot of other models in this price tier, but actually can't recall them instantly, so if you're curious, just ask me. If I've heard this model, I can write something about that in the comments. And in general, really interesting model with nice fast low frequencies, good balanced mids, and normal treble, lacking a bit of energy to my ears, but in general, overall sound representation pretty enjoyable. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and of course have a nice day.